This is Lego House in Billund, Denmark, and every Lego fan has to come here at least once because this is a very special, unique place that celebrates the Lego brick, the Lego system, the Lego idea like nowhere else. I can really vividly remember the first time I came to Lego House because I was here for a special Lego event. It was for some fan media days, and at that time, Lego House was still under construction. So the building itself was finished, but inside, none of this stuff was here. It was all still a construction zone. It was like there were bits and pieces everywhere. And there was a meeting room that was where Lego Masters Academy is now. And that's where we were kind of having all of our sessions and things. But yeah, at that time, everything else was just kind of barren. Everything was coming into place still. Everything was still. But you immediately got a sense of what this was. I mean, obviously, just from the kind of walls and the kind of fact that all of the white bricks are the same size as actual Lego bricks, you immediately got a sense of the Lego vibe. And what's really cool is that these statues of the Lego family, like this one is Kjeld Kirk Kristiansen, these were all here on a pallet and shrink wrap. They hadn't been installed yet. So it was really like early days. It was really seeing these things and what they would become. And then obviously later when I came, those statues were in place, and it was really cool and special to see that the founding family of the Lego group were acknowledged in that way. Which of course makes perfect sense because the whole of Lego House was Kjeld Kirk Kristiansen, the third generation of the Lego group. It was all his project, it was his idea. He wanted to build something at the center of Billund that would be a place to celebrate the Lego brick, the Lego idea, Lego creativity. And the thing that wowed me the most during that first trip when the place was still under construction is obviously there was so much that could be installed at the last minute. But one thing that you can't leave until the last minute is an enormous tree that is the entire height of the building. So we walked underneath this and we were late because our flight was delayed. So we're late for this meeting, but I still couldn't help but stop to look up at the Tree of Creativity. Because I've seen loads of Lego big builds over the years, right? If you're a Lego fan, you've gone to different things, you've gone to Legoland, you've gone to shows and events, you've seen big, amazing builds. But I hadn't seen anything like that because just the scale of it, the size of it, and importantly, the detail of it. Like when you get up close, you can see the grooves in the bark, you can see things carved into it, you can see that every leaf has been meticulously created. So it gives you this real impression of a real tree. It's not blocky, it's not inauthentic, it looks like something that's real, and it's that attention to detail that immediately grabbed me that like Lego House is something that really does celebrate the Lego brick and Lego idea. It's not one of those things where people have made a big bold statement and then not achieved it. Like everything here is imbued with that special Lego magic. So the Tree of Creativity is a really special part of Lego House because it references Lego heritage. So there's carvings in the wood, and there you've got like the Ferguson tractor, and further down, the toys that it represents are the wooden toys that the Lego group created to begin with. So as you walk up the tree alongside it, there's different branches, and each of those branches has a layout reflecting a different Lego theme. So you've got Friends, Ninjago, Castle, Pirates, and Space. All of the classic ones that you grew up with are represented on different branches of the tree, and it's a really nice way to acknowledge the way the Lego group's grown through the years, and all of these different themes have been part of that growth. And then at the very top, there's a crane to represent the fact that the Lego group keeps building, it keeps growing. The Kjeld Kirk Kristiansen is handed down to Thomas Kirk Kristiansen, the next generation of family ownership. It's one of the really nice things about Lego House is that there's lots of different ways to get hands-on with bricks. There's lots of activities to do, but it also pays tribute to the history of the Lego group and the long legacy that it's had over more than 90 years. So when you're at home with your Lego bricks, you've got your collection, you've got the stuff that you've got access to. But the thing that's super special here at Lego House is obviously there is an unlimited supply of bricks. We're in Billund, we're in the home of the Lego group. There's new bricks being cycled into this venue all of the time. Literally, there's all of the bricks that you could dream of to play with. Obviously, you can see that in action in the amazing kind of backdrops and things like the incredible Lego brick waterfall. But also, you just got buckets and buckets of bricks to build with. And this is a place where you can literally just create whatever you can imagine, because you don't have that limitation that you have at home of the bricks that you've got in your own collection. You've got all the bricks that you can dream of. So whether it is here building with all the bricks in the brick bins and building enormous towers and that sort of thing, there's also dedicated spaces where you can unlock your creativity in a prompted way, where there's a specific topic or theme that you can build to. And I think that's something that's really special and unique about Lego House, which is no matter what your skill level is, whether you're someone who mocks and builds at home all of the time, you've still got access to more bricks than you can ever have anywhere else. But equally, if you're someone who typically builds by instructions, if you're someone who's not super comfortable with free building, the fact that you've got so many bricks to go with, the fact that you don't need a massive loose brick collection, means you've got a lot to get going with. You can really kind of start building. And it's something I find personally, you know, I've always thought of myself as someone who builds from the instructions. I'm someone who follows step by step. But here at Lego House, I've always been able to just build whatever I need to. Like I remember when there was a themed spaceship build, for example, they've got all the right parts for building spaceships with. So it gave me the creative confidence to just put my own spaceships together and just build them, knowing that I got these right wedge shapes and all of this sort of thing. And I was just able to put something together that I never would have believed I could do if it hadn't been for the fact I was here at Lego House with all of the right pieces and so on. So as a Lego fan like me, you're going to want to spend a lot of time in the history collection here at Lego House, and it's one of the things that's super special about it. A lot of fans have heard about Lego Idea House, which is the Lego Group's private museum that's just for employees and specially invited guests. But you've got the equivalent down here in Lego House. You've got this incredible exhibition that walks you through the whole history of the Lego Group. And it's not just about bricks and plastic toys and stuff. This is going back all the way to Kjeld Kirk Kristiansen's childhood, the original founder of the Lego Group. And you can walk through the history of everything, and it explains step by step how Kjeld Kirk Kristiansen started the Lego Group, how his children then took over, how the Lego bricks came to be, clutch power was introduced, all of these significant milestones in the history of the Lego Group, all the amazing themes that were introduced over time, the different philosophies that came and went over the years. And it's all illustrated with real objects from the Lego archives. So you've got classic sets and items that you just don't see anywhere else here on display to admire. You know, you can peer over them, you can get photos. And it's one of those places that you can just never spend enough time when you're here at Lego House. I always get a kick out of just coming down here and admiring all the different artifacts, you know, whether these are sketches for Bionicle adverts, prototype minifigures, or something that's just a classic set that isn't in my collection. It's just such a nice opportunity to spend time admiring these things and soaking in all of the Lego history that's around you here in Billund, in this specific place. It's so special and so worth dedicating a good hour of your time at Lego House to coming down to the history collection and really soaking it all in. I've always really loved Green Zone in Lego House because World Explorer's got this amazing miniature minifigure scale village. And again, I say village, world, obviously World Explorer, right? But that's one of those things that was under construction the very first time I actually came here. And I've been here so many times since, and I can always spend ages just getting lost in it. Now, I've talked about some of the different creative things that you can do in Lego House in like Red Zone, for example, where it's all about building, about putting Lego bricks together in a very traditional way. But there's lots of other kind of experiences in Lego House as well. And a good example is also in the Green Zone, and that is Character Creator. Now, Character Creator has hundreds, if not thousands, of minifigure parts for you to use however you want and build your own minifigure in here. Now, the thing you do with that minifigure once you built it is put it into one of the stations to create a magazine cover. And obviously, that's something very dear to my heart. And again, the very first time I came here, I thought, if only you could put a minifigure on the cover of Blocks magazine. Like, how cool would it be for Blocks magazine to actually be in Character Creator? And sure enough, now when you come to Lego House, you can literally put your minifigure in the station here, tap your wristband, and then choose Blocks magazine as a cover. So Blocks is right here in Lego House. You have to put them to the back to focus it. And it's just something that means so much to me because I think this place is so special. I think Lego House communicates the Lego idea so well. I think it's such a lovely, heartwarming place to spend a day. And the fact that Blocks is now part of this, that Blocks is here in Character Creator, it just means the world to me. It's just something that's so special. And I really would urge everyone to come and make their own Blocks magazine cover when they visit Lego House. And what's more, we've got a competition. So if you share that cover online, go on blocksmag.com to find out all of the details, you could be in with a chance of winning the new Lego House I Love Billund exclusive set. We've got 5 to give away that way and another 5 to give away to people who sign up to our free newsletter. So go to blocksmag.com for all of the details on that. So unfortunately, a corrupted file means that we can't actually share the final segment of this video as we shot it at Lego House. But I do just want to wrap up this video and talk a little bit about why I'm so effusive about this particular destination. I mean, I really don't have many criticisms of Lego House. It really is a place that I feel like every Lego fan should visit. And I think the reason for that is that it does embody that Lego spirit and Lego idea that I talked about earlier. Because I work on Blocks magazine, because Lego is more than a hobby now, it is something that I spend way too much of my waking hours and goodness knows how many of my subconscious sleeping hours thinking about. So when I walk through somewhere like Lego House, I can really see the way that it's representing, or at least always aiming to represent, the Lego concept, the idea of play, the idea of learning through play. And I think it does it in a way that allows adults and children to get involved. I think it's a bit like if you go to like Disneyland or somewhere and you don't feel self-conscious about letting your inner child out. And I think that's the way to approach Lego House. I think it's so important when you step through those gates that you're going to just let loose, enjoy the experiences for what they are, and really build in a way that's fun, that's creative, that's sometimes silly, that's sometimes similar to the way you would have built as a child. And I just think you can get so much out of the place. Now, the video segments that you've seen showcase some of my favourite parts of Lego House and some of the really cool things that I think you should do there. But I'd also like to flag up Lego Masters Academy as a new addition to Lego House. Now, you do have to buy an extra ticket for that experience because it's very low capacity compared to the rest of the house. But I definitely recommend checking it out. It's done to the same quality as the rest of Lego House. It's really good fun. It's really high energy, yet also a tutorial, which is a really interesting combination. The stop motion Lego House experience is really good. That's part of the experience zones. Stop motion is one of those things that obviously most of us can't do at home because we don't have the setup. We don't necessarily have the patience for it. So it's really nice having everything there ready to use and be able to sit down and do it. And then the other thing, of course, that Lego fans love are exclusives, special products and so on. And the range of Lego House exclusive sets is really good. There's always something special to pick up there. And the minifigure factory station there is well worth checking out because there are special Billund themed prints and torsos that you can have put on your personalised minifigure. So to wrap this up, if you can swing a visit to Lego House, I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, you can also pair it with a trip to Legoland Billund, which is also really fun because it's the original Legoland theme park. And then you've got the walking tour of Billund that you can do. You know, you can go and check out Kjeld Kirk Kristiansen's house. You can go and see Lego Campus and get a photo next to the massive minifigure that sits outside that. And you can be really close to the place where the Lego group was founded and feel that kind of special energy that is nowhere else in the world. Do let us know in the comments if you visited Lego House, what your favourite things are there. Do let us know if you're planning to visit, what you're excited to see there. And of course, don't forget to go over to the Blocks website and find out all of the details about our prize draw so you can be in with a chance of winning one of those I Love Billund Lego House exclusive sets.